Chiefs Kingdom, we are now a full week removed from the 2023 NFL trade deadline, and that could spark maybe some free agent talk coming out of the NFL. You're watching the Chiefs Sport by Chat Sports. My name is Jay Sanders, and on today's show, we're going to talk about the Chiefs and the potential moves coming after the trade deadline with free agent targets that Brett Veach may go after to help bolster this Chiefs team as they head into the second half of the season and look towards the possibility of going back-to-back in the Super Bowl. Before we do that, though, I need your help. If you think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL, which I don't know about you, I think it's pretty clear and obvious that the Chiefs are, then I want you to like today's video, hit that like button, and if you don't, then comment why you think the Chiefs are not the best team. Let me know in the comment section if not, but otherwise, I know that Chiefs Kingdom has my back. Like the video if you think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. Without further ado, let's dive into these free agent targets, with the first one being Jarvis Landry. I think this one may be the one that we're going to talk about in full the most, just because the Chiefs still need a wide receiver. And if you look at free agent rankings, well, he is the top-rated wide receiver, and it's clear to see why. In fact, I'm kind of surprised he's still a free agent. Over the past couple years with both the Saints and then Browns, he has looked formidable, to say the least. I think he's looked even better than that. Last year, obviously only the 9 games played, had the touchdown, 272 on the yards, 25 receptions. But going back to 2019, a full 16-game season, 1,174 yards, 14.1 on the average, and 6 touchdowns. He's a guy that could really fit into this Chiefs wide receiver room that, honestly, at this point, we've accepted it, or at least I've accepted it. There's not going to be a wide receiver one, but there is some depth pieces that could bolster this wide receiver room. Kadarius Toney at the wide receiver 1, Marquez Valdes-Scantling at the 2, Sky Moore and Rashee Rice, who both have looked better as of late. Rashee has looked pretty good all year, to be honest. McCall Hardman, Richie James, Justin Watson, and then Justin Ross, who right now is in a bit of a rock and a hard place. But I think the thing with Jarvis you look at is he is a proven guy. He's a guy who's been in the league for time and time again. Browns, Saints. He's spent a lot of time in this league and honestly could fit in well with this Chiefs squad. Here and there, he would be a great addition. So, with that being said, I think we have to open up the question to the audience. Should the Chiefs sign Jarvis Landry? If you think they should, well then type S for sign. If you think they should not, then type P for pass. Here's the thing that I'm talking about. You have Jarvis in a situation here where you could potentially bolster your wide receiver room for the better. This is a guy that's not just going to be a depth move, but he's also a veteran presence. With that, it makes a lot of good things. So I want you to let me know in the comment section. I think I make this one the pinned comment for today. If you think the Chiefs should sign Jarvis Landry, then type S for sign. If you think the Chiefs should not, then type P for pass. All right, Desmond King is the second target we have here on this list, the cornerback formerly playing with the Texans, and he's in the top free agent market. The thing that I look at, though, is the cornerback is not necessarily needed on this team. King, although his talent is really good, and he looks like a guy who deserves to be in the NFL and on an NFL roster, cornerback is not a positional need for the Chiefs right now. McDuffie has been, up until this past week, the top PFF-rated cornerback in the entire league. This past week, he lost that title, but he's still top 5. L'Jarius Sneed has been amazing this year, and Jalen Watson has been a pleasant surprise as well. There's a lot of guys that I think could honestly fit onto this team, but a cornerback is most certainly not one. In the wide receiver position, we're going to add another guy with Kenny Golladay to this list. I think he could be one that could fit on this roster. And I'm going to tell you exactly why Kenny Golladay would be a perfect fit for the Chiefs after this, because PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports platform, and it's the only place that I go to play daily fantasy sports. It is the largest DFS platform in North America, and it's a skill-based, real money game with basketball season here on top of it. It's the perfect time to start on PrizePicks, as you can pick combo projections across the NBA and NFL. So, for instance, you can pick the more on Travis Kelce touchdowns and the more on Jason Tatum points. Now, how do you play? Well, pretty simple. You pick 2 or more players. Then You decide if you want more or less on each of their prize picks projections. Then you choose flex or power play. If you want to do power play, you could potentially win up to 25 times your money. We've got Thursday Night Football being the next NFL game, and I got my entries in early, just like you can today. If you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Let's look at my picks here real quick with Bryce Young more than 223.5 passing yards. I've got the more on that. 45.5 rushing yards for Chuba Hubbard. I've got the more there as well. In Cairo Santos, 1.5 field goals. I've got the more on that. If you're not taking more, you're not really living. Prize Picks is also offering a reboot policy so that even if one of your players gets injured, your entry stays in play. So, for instance, for football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is then rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Now, quick withdrawals and easy gameplay and a normal selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Again, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Let's look at Kenny Golladay and exactly why I think he should be on the Chiefs. If you look at his career statistics, they are better than average. They are better than, I think, above average. Has he had a tough time as of late? Yeah, but 16.2 on the average, 22 touchdowns on 226 receptions. This guy was a baller with the Giants, or excuse me, not with the Giants, with the Lions, and then fell off a cliff when he went to the Giants. That's where we kind of hit the bridge here. He only has 3 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons. He did not form well when he went to the Giants. To be quite honest with you, he looked like one of the worst receivers in the NFL when he was with the Giants. That may have been with play calling. Obviously, getting it to him may be a little tougher. But 3 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons is not good, considering his stats with the Lions were absolutely incredible. But you got to see what he's got, right? You're looking at wide receivers all over. Kenny Golladay was a wide receiver 1 in Detroit. He could be a wide receiver 1 in Kansas City. I think you got to just work him out. Call the guy. Say, hey, buddy, come in. We want to see what you got. We may not sign you, but we want to give you a little bit of a workout and see if you could fit into this offense. He's a cheap move, and honestly, you have space for him. You could pop him in there, pop out Justin Ross, pop out Richie James, see what happens there. I like a move like that. Let's go to another free agent target, and one that is very similar, or maybe not similar, but familiar to Kansas City and the Chiefs' kingdom. Carlos Dunlap, the edge rusher, because guess what? We played with Kansas City last year in 2022. So I think we have to start this one with, would you like to see Dunlap back in KC? If you think so, then type Y for yes. If you think no, then type in for no. Here's the thing. Dunlap knows this defense. Dunlap has felt the pressure of an Andy Reid type coaching style. He knows what it's like to play in Kansas City. Let me know if you think it's reunion time for Dunlap. Type Y for yes or type in for no. The PFF grades for Carlos Dunlap are pretty nice. And he has had 571 snaps last year, 5 sacks, an overall grade of 66.4. And then the run defense, which is always a key when looking at an edge, 71.5 in the PFF grade. That is a great PFF grade for run defense. He looked pretty good last year, and honestly was surprised the Chiefs didn't bring him back. And at this point, you kind of understand it because there's a lot of scenarios to go with it. But I think the idea behind it is good. The idea behind having a guy who is familiar with this defense coming back, it's a great idea. Problem is, edge rusher is not what is needed for the Chiefs. Kind of similar to the cornerback role. Could it work better than cornerbacks? Yes. But is it a thing that you should focus on? No, not at all. The 5th guy. I know. I can just see all your faces right now. Why Matt Ryan? Why is he on here? What is on here? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Blaine Gabbert has scared me. I have to be totally blunt with you. The one time Gabbert came in against the Bears, he looked terrible. He threw 2 interceptions. I would hate for this Chiefs team to lose Patrick Mahomes. I don't want that to happen. But you have to be ready for that. You have to show, okay, we're prepared. We know what's going to happen if that happens. We have a guy. Matt Ryan would be better than Blaine Gabbert, right? Because he's actually started. Blaine Gabbert's been a career backup. That's a front on the guy. Matt Ryan, his stats just show it better than it would with Blaine Gabbert. 3,000 yards over the past 3 seasons, including only 3,000 in 12 games in 2022 with the Colts. Obviously, that season did not turn out like he wanted it to. But formidable guy with the Falcons, led them to the Super Bowl. All know the whole story, 28-3. Who knows what this guy is doing right now if he doesn't blow that lead. But here's the thing. I said it before. Just stay healthy. There's no reason to worry about a backup quarterback because I just hope and pray and hope that Patrick Mahomes stays healthy. I would hate to see what would happen if that is not what can go on, but you have to be prepared. Now, we've gone through the 5 top free agency targets, but wide receivers are obviously the main need for this Kansas City offense, and if the Chiefs sign anyone, I believe it should be a wide receiver because that is what this team needs going forward. So we've gone through the top 5 in terms of overall positions. Let's look at other wide receivers that we could look at. So there's T.Y. Hilton, Cole Beasley, Marquez Callaway, Bryan Edwards, and Sammy Watkins that are all top wide receiver free agents. And I think any one of these guys could work. Sammy Watkins has worked out with a couple teams for the past couple days. T.Y. Hilton has been kind of quiet. Cole Beasley, I hate to say it, but he kind of sounds like a freaking Chiefs wide receiver. Had the Giants stint a little bit. He was with the Bills. Guy was with the Cowboys before that for a majority of his career. He just seems like a Chiefs wide receiver. Like, I think you can agree with me on that. There's 5 guys right there. But I want you to play GM and get in the comment section by naming a free agent that you would like the Chiefs to sign. Is there a guy that you've thought, you know what, I like that guy, I want him to be on the Chiefs? Is there a guy in this video that you've seen like, you know what, Jace, I agree with you. I want Jarvis Landry. I want T.Y. Hilton. I want Carlos Dunlap. Well, then name that free agent in the comment section below if you want the Chiefs to sign. That's all we got for you today. We appreciate you watching. And as always, peace out.